imagined having a home computer would be glum, you'll be glad to see the Commodore Amiga 500, which does arcade-quality games. You can compose a symphony, or you can plan a new garden. The Amiga 500 could make all the difference to a child's education. So don't imagine having a home computer would be glum, because happily you can buy a Commodore Amiga 500. For details, call 01-873-9800. You'll be glad you did.
Hello, everybody. This is a Sunday version of the Wednesday Night Mouse Party. So it's a Sunday Night Mouse Party. Just kind of because I had to miss last Wednesday and I'll have to miss next Wednesday. So I cajoled Baron into doing a chat with me tonight. How you doing, Baron?
Doing pretty good. How about you?
I'm doing all right. In the description, I think I remembered to put in a link to the Guilded server.
Yeah, it's there.
Okay. It's a place to just kind of hang out, share pictures, memes, chit chat, have fun with each other. Let me get that going. And down below, there's the email and link that you can send suggestions, comments, or Gorn, pictures of guns or knives or whatever, within reason. And yeah, I think that's... Oh, if you watch this in replay, leave a comment. Let me know you're out there. And say hello. But let's see. Since I forgot to schedule this earlier, I was going to schedule it, and I took a nap. Yeah. It didn't get done until kind of just before we went live. So might not have too many people showing up. But Guns and Barbecue was out there earlier, but he's got to be up in a little bit. So he went to bed. Gunmetal Guy USA. 2 Live Moo, who also has to be up in a few hours. Gunpowder Beauty. Up with the kids. And the rabbits. Baby rabbits are pups, aren't they? Or no. Are they? What's a baby rabbit?
Bunny?
Well,
or is a bunny different than a rabbit?
No, I think it's the same.
I did not expect this question tonight.
Apparently they're called kittens. I didn't know they were called kittens.
So if you eat a baby rabbit, you can say you ate a kitten.
Kittens or kits. Yeah.
Interesting.
Wow. I'm allergic to rabbits, so I don't eat rabbit. But so we're doing a Sunday night chat. We had a poll. Let me call up the poll. The last poll that we did. Tab. Is it the right one? No, that's not the right one. That's the right one. There we go. Best comedy sports movie. And team sport. And I put more slapstick, but that's not... I couldn't figure out a word. I just didn't want... Bull Durham.
Yeah, the Kevin Costner movie.
Yeah. Which, you know, it's a good movie, but I was looking more for goofier. I guess I could have put more goofy. And Slapshot, which was in there, is kind of borderline, but I just really like the movie, so I added it because it's my poll. I can do what I want. And DJ, good morning.
Good evening. Good morning, as the case is, I guess. Yeah.
Morning.
Thanks for coming in.
For sure. Thanks for the link.
So our choices were Slapshot, Major League, Necessary Roughness, Dodgeball, a true underdog story, and Bad News Bears. And Major League won, ran away with it, 48%. Second was Dodgeball. Third was Slapshot. Fourth was Bad News Bears. And Necessary Roughness came in last, which I really like that movie. It's not a great movie, but I still like it. And in the comments, Super Bad Video was just thanking me for he had won one of the giveaways, letting me know he got his stuff. Charger said, if you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball. Tactical Maverick, all great in different ways, but Major League, I think, is the best because of Bob Uecker. Bob Uecker's a funny guy. I don't know if you've ever heard their interviews with him. He did a good job. TJ Mars is saying The Replacements was pretty good. I never saw The Replacements. That was the one with Keanu Reeves, wasn't it?
Yeah. I haven't seen that one either.
Rich White was telling me that Slapshot and Major League aren't really slapstick, which, yeah, I kind of knew. But I did not know how to articulate what I wanted. Tactical Maverick was saying, I can't believe Necessary Roughness was so low on the voting. Caucasian Sasquatch brought up Mighty Ducks. I did see Mighty Ducks. Yeah, I thought it was okay. But I don't know, it just might have been my age because I was older when it came out. And it's kind of more of a kid's movie. And Gunmetal Guy USA is saying, sing to him, read him a story. I don't care. Just keep him off my ass. Mr. Blake, he'll never touch you. That's from Necessary Roughness.
So if people just start quacking during like a sporting event, you don't get it?
No, I would not get it.
Okay.
And Gun Websites is saying if you can throw a wrench. So thank you to everybody who here, let me do this. Who voted in the poll. And I will drop I'll drop a link to the community tab where the poll and other things are. So if you want to go over there and add some votes to the polls, you can go ahead. And DJ saying the Hanson brothers. Part of what brought Slapshot would actually kind of got me to do this poll was I saw an interview with one of the guys that played one of the Hanson brothers. And it was kind of funny where he said pretty much the way the Hanson brothers were, that's the way they were. They were, the characters were based off real players, and that's the way they were. And he was, they were actual hockey players. And how you see them act in the movie is how they acted in real life. For those who have seen and remember Slapshot, like they've got their slot cars. He said they actually had slot cars that they take with them and play with. So it was kind of interesting, kind of funny.
Never seen that one.
It's good. It's older. It's Newman. Paul Newman plays the lead.
It's definitely worth picking up, Barrett. But you got to tell me, what is all this quacking about? I've not seen Mighty Ducks either. So what happens if somebody is like quacking during a sporting event? What's that symbolize?
It's kind of like rooting for the team, I guess. Getting amped up.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that movie in like 20 years. Easily.
I can't see quacking getting you amped up as much as just like a shout.
Well, it's for kids.
Yeah.
They're not like, yeah, let's rip their head off.
Quack, quack, quack. Kill them. Quack, 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 quack.
I'm a 9-year-old. Yeah.
Oh, so yeah, that's all I had. So thanks for showing up. I appreciate it. Drive safe. Tip your waiter.
Speaking of the Mighty Ducks, I actually took the script for the Mighty Ducks, cut out a motivational speech, and put it through one of my bots, and tested it for how good the audio and lip sync was. It was pretty good. The technology is getting crazy.
Is that what you were showing me?
That
Or was that
was
different?
him reading a chapter of it out of a book.
Oh,
But it's the same technology.
yeah,
Cool shit.
It was kind of deep in the uncanny valley because it's
It wasn't as creepy though.
no,
It was way closer.
yeah. I mean, there's in
Like another 5 years, you won't be able to tell.
in this speaking part. There's, I mean, it's a lot better than like on Instagram when or whatever the automated
text-to-speech.
Yeah, way better than that.
Mm-hmm.
And there was just some mispronunciations.
Yeah, like of towns. They don't know how to pronounce a European town. Stuff like that.
Pacing.
You can actually go in and fine tweak each pronunciation of each syllable if you want to.
Wow.
But I was just doing a test.
Yeah, and then the I don't know, do you call it animated part? The
the actor.
Yeah. You looking at it without the sound.
Audio.
Yeah, you wouldn't really know that's
it's impossible.
Made up. It looks like somebody is sitting there talking.
Mm-hmm.
Just in the last year, the adaptability and believability of some of the like robocalls that I get, telemarketing and such, I fall for them every once in a while. I mean, my response is the same, but yeah, it's getting to be almost confusing how real they are. But like you were saying, Baron, with like place names, I think proper nouns are always going to be a clue because they are so varied.
Yeah, I don't answer my phone. Everything goes through, like the landline goes to the answering machine, and then I'll filter from there because you can hear it, and when the message starts, then I'll pick up if I need to. On my cell phone, it's a little harder. I just have to guess. Does that look like a legitimate call or not?
I have it set up so if you're not in my contacts, it goes straight to voicemail.
Oh, that's smart. See, the ones that I've been getting lately are also highly adaptable. They not only are having city names on, city phone exchanges in my state, but when I get one and I find out this is a bad one, I just save it as a scam, and I have like a series of numbers that I'll use, kind of thing. So because they'll start calling from a new number from a different area in my state. So they're just like wacka trying to get at you.
Yeah, because when they're calling from the computer, and then they can just put any number that they want on. They can spoof any number they want, and they can have 1,000 different numbers to call you from.
Isn't it fun to have lived through 2 spam wars? We did landlines and now cell phones. I remember switching from a landline to a cell phone because I didn't want telemarketer calls anymore.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it seems to come in waves where I'll get a bunch and then it goes quiet for a while. I've got a little box that hooks to my phone that, big red button. I just hit the button and it blocks that number. But since they can vary it, then it's not as effective.
almost the best judge of whether or not to take it, if it's a robocall or not, is time of day for me as well. Because like nobody calls me during certain hours of the day. So if it's somebody calling and it isn't an exact exchange that I'm familiar with within the city, I'll just let it go. It's a shame we have to do that. Whatever happened to that do not call list? Is the DNC list still going on? And was that ever worth a shit?
No, not really, because it got ignored and it's hard to prosecute. And probably most of the calls are coming from out of the country. So
Yep.
there's not much that anybody can do.
Can you imagine trying to police India from stopping all the telemarketing calls? That'd be impossible.
Two Life Moo is saying about half the time he does answer the spam calls and messes with them.
But are you messing with a person or a robot?
You never know. My stock answer when I pick up the phone, even if it is say during the time of day where I decide to answer it, I say, "What do you got?" And like people who know me, they'll just start talking. People who aren't though, they like hesitate for like a second, and then they might say something, or you can hear the exchange click when they're coming up off of a system that has been dialing in. It just like moves it over to a CSR who's like part of like trying to sell you whatever it is. But yeah, what you got?
Yeah. Do you remember that Yankee Marshall bot I built that would chat with you in Discord? Long time ago.
I do, but I don't remember any of the conversations.
So it was a learning bot. The more you talked with it, the more it would learn how to talk to you. And it was the Yankee Marshall as a joke. And the type of shit that our users would say to Yankee, I'd have to wipe him every week because he'd become a gigantic asshole that no one could deal with. That was pretty funny.
So it was real to life.
Yeah, it was really him. They treated him like Yankee, and he became Yankee. It was amazing. What was it called? Not the Yankee Marshall?
Something like that.
Mm-hmm. That was funny. Until he started telling inappropriate jokes, because you could ask him for a joke and be like, "Whoa, dude, you're going to get the server deleted. This thing's got to go."
Yeah, Yankee gets he's kind of a gateway drug into firearms ownership. He's one of the first channels that I found when I bought my first gun and I was researching, and came across him, and he does good stuff. The Pets and Vet program that he does, all of the money he raises goes to charity, either the Pets and Vets or the God, what's the other one called? Oh, the TYMP, the Yankee Marshall Pistol Posse, where
Pistol Project Posse.
Pistol Project, right. Yeah, where he gives away firearms to people who can't afford firearms for whatever circumstances. People will write in, and there's a committee that he doesn't pick people. There's a committee that picks the recipients, and so it's I support that. But yeah, we're probably going to. We haven't decided if we're going to completely shut off the Discord server, but at least the majority of the traffic will be on the Guilded server now.
Yeah, we haven't decided whether to delete it or to leave a channel with a link in it.
Yeah, the Gilded server just has a much bigger upside to it. There's a lot more you can do with it.
And it's free.
Yeah. And I don't understand everything that you can do with it. That's kind of more Baron's wheelhouse.
I don't either. I'm still learning. But when we do the full switch, it'll should come easier once you're doing it regularly. But yeah, I'm excited.
I am too. And yeah, it's just it'll be easier just to be able to concentrate on one rather than trying to keep both of them going.
Mm-hmm. I was posting a meme in both simultaneously for a while. You put it on Instagram, put it on Discord, and then put it on Gilded. Be nice to just do one.
Yeah, it's like all the other YouTube alternatives that I have accounts on that I have been neglecting for probably more than 6 months now. Because some of them you will automatically grab the any videos I put up off of YouTube. Some of them don't, so I have to go manually do them. And I got kind of lazy and haven't been doing it. So I need to take a day and just start uploading, because I have to grab them off YouTube, download them, and then upload them. I download them anyways, just so I can have like all the live chats, so I can have copies of them just in case something happens to the channel. I still have all my contents. Yeah.
Who would ever strike us, though? That wouldn't happen.
I don't know, because we're
3 days left.
So you were Baron. You were talking about creating that the Yankee bot. Have either one of you guys heard about Lambda? I watched a couple of the Google AI becoming sentient.
No.
I did see the article. I did not read it.
Well, I haven't read any articles, but I've watched a couple of YouTube vids and I'm more than a little bit skeptical to begin with. And then the backstory made me even more so, because apparently this was the recording of a conversation that they were having. And I'm not sure exactly how the panel was set up. It wasn't a direct one. It was Lambda having the conversation with text input from a team. And one of the developers apparently grabbed that conversation and has since been, is no longer in their employ. So those are pretty, pretty strong suggestions that this might be dummied up. Everybody's jumping onto it, which doesn't say anything about its veracity, of course, because everybody's going to grab onto a story. But it was kind of an interesting conversation. It sounded a little bit like somebody, I don't know, like one of the script writers for the next generation had been on the team, kind of thing, for a spoof. But it's something I'm at least going to pay attention to. I haven't dug any deeper. Well, I can't say it's a waste. It might turn out to be something really, really cool and actual factual. But probably I watched about 2 hours, different channels, all having roughly the same take, and avoided a few of them very early on channel videos that was where it was obvious, at least to me, that this is the kind of channel that will believe any damn thing. So before someone actually can confirm or deny whether that or not that's legitimate, and I think it was maybe a week ago, 2 weeks ago, hadn't checked me if I'm wrong, I'm in the hopper to see what's going on with that.
You know what we should do? We should take every single Yankee Marshall video and feed it into an AI, and then it creates a Yankee out of that. Like
and ask it to tell jokes.
Yankee. We can upload like dueling videos every day against them. See if they're the same topic. That'd be funny.
And one of the reasons I brought it up after your mention was that program was open source. And so so I'm not too sure about any of that. And sorry if I brought up something that we didn't need to chase down until there was something more legit there, but it's a party.
No. I'm I looked up the story. I wasn't familiar with it.
Facts ruin stories. That's a fact.
Yeah, I guess there's a the Wired article that I found says there's a ton of prominent AI scientists that are dismissing the conclusion.
And I would tend to believe what Wired is able to come up with. They're solid. They've been around for a long time. They don't just go chasing after ghosts.
Yeah, they're kind of the crux of their article was that the Lambda is a racist.
Oh, yeah?
I didn't.
Okay.
I'm just kind of scanning through, so I don't know what all the argument is. Yeah, there's a part here where it says that it's talking about racist or sexist tendencies.
How long till the Yankee bot says the N-word? Like a week?
Oh no.
Well, he used it clinically,
Yeah, I know.
not maliciously.
I should have clarified. He does seem to enjoy it, though.
I don't know about that. But...
I meant he does seem to enjoy using it clinically. If that makes sense.
Well,
he doesn't seem to avoid it. I'll put it that way.
No. But that's, I think, mainly because of the context of how he's using it. But, yeah. So it.
Was
Welcome
it
to
Saving
the
His Bacon in Birmingham? Remember that one?
Yeah.
I don't think that was clinically.
No, I don't think so.
No.
But yeah, I don't want to turn this into Yankee apologist chat. So
Yankee is free to come on at any point.
yeah, I don't think he'll ever come on. So
No.
He's got more important things to do.
What we should do is we should slap him around on his own show, right? What's something we disagree with him on?
I don't know.
Is there anything?
I don't know.
We just lost half the audience. We just said we agreed with Yankee on everything. Uh-oh.
Oh, well, let me go back up. There's a couple people I missed. Groundbird was out there, and Wesley Foster was out there. I'm not sure if they're still out there because not many people are out there.
Gunmetal Guy wanted to ask me a question 26 minutes ago.
Uh-oh.
How you doing, Gunmetal Guy?
Yeah, I think this is just kind of a... It's pretty much an unscheduled chat on an off night, so it's a little off the rails to start with. But we shall soldier on.
We do have a good finale coming up.
So, what else is going on?
I watched that video on the belt-fed new Army M250.
Yeah,
6.8.
Yes.
That looks pretty sweet. How much
It
do you think they're going
is.
to charge for that?
It is interesting. It's the replacement, a replacement for the SAW, the squad operated or squad what is it?
Automatic weapon.
Automatic weapon. Sorry.
M249.
It's lighter.
Mm-hmm.
I think easier to use. A familiar form factor.
And it's more powerful than the 308 version that's heavier than the SAW.
Yeah.
It's more accurate than both. It's pretty awesome.
And there are different calibers for it, which I would think might be a problem. Because if it's the same form factor and you swap out the barrel, then you have the potential of the wrong caliber and the wrong gun. because there's no markings saying it's different. But it's
That's
like
a really good point.
the barrel swap is really easy. There's this little cover up front and a little slider that you slide over, and the barrel comes right out. So it's curious and surprisingly long barrel life, because they were saying 10,000 rounds, but they're kind of expecting 15,000 rounds out of the barrels.
And the Army only needed 5.
Yeah, and has a suppressor, which doesn't make it super quiet, but brings down the sound level without increasing the
Blowback.
The blowback. So it's the same amount of blowback as there normally is in an M4, I think they said.
It's better. It actually has less gases in your face than a M4.
So
I don't know how they did that. That's crazy.
I don't either.
And it's the same exact suppressor they use on the Spear, the new battle rifle.
That I didn't. If they said it in the video, I might have skipped around and missed it when they were talking.
So help me out, fellas. What's the difference between an LMG light machine gun and is it an HMG? What's a heavy machine gun compared to one of these things? I mean, come on.
I don't know. Wasn't in the military. Like, I'm sure there is a specific, like an assault rifle is like a intermediate caliber, full auto, lightweight rifle. I don't know what becomes a heavy machine gun. Is a 308 considered a heavy, or you got to be a 50? Where's the line there?
What is the M2? Is that considered still to be an LMG?
No, that'd be a heavy.
Okay, so if it is caliber or perhaps something that has to be mounted, I don't know. I just shouldn't ask you for conjecture. I'm sorry, guys. Just thought maybe there was an answer right out there for my curiosity.
Yeah, the M2 is definitely a heavy machine gun. I don't know if the what is the 308 model called? I don't remember. Is it M240?
I don't know that one. The 1919 is 30-06, if I remember right. So that'd be right in there.
I think it's an M240. Yeah, M240 is 308. Well, actually, it's 7.62 NATO. But
yeah, I'm poking around the Googles, and
they're calling it a medium machine gun. So I guess the light would be an intermediate, medium would be full rifle, and then heavy would be like a 50 cal, where it's like, holy shit.
Yeah.
The house is being disintegrated. Yeah.
Oh yeah, in that video that you were talking about, why don't you call that up? Can you put a link to it in the chat?
Yeah. So
people can look at it if they want, because they showed another rifle that was approximately the same, but maybe a little slightly larger. And they were
338.
Yeah, they were saying that's a replacement for the M2.
Yep. Yeah, it seems like they're getting ready to get rid of everything all at once. Really hope it doesn't backfire.
Yeah, you won't know until it gets out in service and in use, and then you find where the problems are.
My hunch You know, you were talking about how they had the quick change barrels with different chambers.
Yeah.
Like, so they had one for 308. I bet you that's because they don't have enough 6.8 Fury ammo. So, like, if we got into a war right now, they'd be using 7.62 NATO.
Yeah, it's got to take a while, particularly because they have to continue to produce the calibers. You know, Lake City can't just do that overnight.
Yeah.
A spool up for something new is going to take a while. Machining, everything is going to take a while. Suppliers have to be in line, and now that there are, I mean, I understand that likely anybody but the government is experiencing shortages. There still has to be some other limitations for that rollout, or full integration, I guess I should have said.
What I was thinking about, what would happen if you put a 6.8 in a 308 chamber? Because the pressure is insane.
Bad things.
But since it's not the same caliber, pressure should be reduced. Do you think it'd be enough to blow the gun?
I stay with bad things, man. Not going to try it. Not going to volunteer for that mission.
I hope they've tested that.
So Wesley Foster was asking about the SCOTUS. SCOTUS isn't in session right now, is it? They're out, aren't they?
Yeah, I think they're hiding in bunkers, aren't they?
Yeah.
They're not in session.
So there won't be any announcements till later in the year.
They're in witness protection right now till the next session.
Wesley is also saying heavy is crew served.
Okay.
I couldn't really find any, everything was just blogs, people talking about it and basically saying that there's no real standard for what each one is. It's kind of nebulous. There probably
how long
is.
did the Army call things clips? There were magazines after the M1.
Yeah, there was Army manuals that called magazines clips.
Mm-hmm.
But if somebody says clip instead of magazine, I don't say anything. I know what they mean. They know what they mean.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying, even the military, like if you get their manual, they can be wrong with their own definition.
Well, it was right at the time, and they have decided to change the terminology.
Wouldn't that be funny? You have like an M2 carbine, and you're like, hey, throw me a clip, because that's what they tell you to tell them. And they throw you a M-block clip for a M1 rifle. And you're like, fuck. Should have said magazine. So I did post it in the chat.
Well, and perhaps a public service announcement. There's been a recall notice on the R7 Mako handguns that Kimber. Don't know if anybody out there in the crowd has one or has even held one. I have not, but yeah, they did a recall on that. Apparently, it has to do with the firing pin safety block. That's no bueno.
So do these Kimbers actually fire? Maybe that's why they jam out of the factory. It's a safety.
Well, but having it, it run on, you pull back once, and you get a couple three to go poking out the end. That is no kind of good. And you got to wonder what kind of, it's not as if things won't escape, regular testing, any of the things that they have in place. But I mean, what do you guys think about recalls like that? Should manufacturers actively pursue through the, and now there's something on the back end of this. Should manufacturers actively pursue owners who have purchased those? Like leave it on their shoulders kind of thing to like spearhead it instead of just publishing, that's how I became aware of it through a magazine, for God's sake.
Because there's no list.
Yeah.
Unless you register with the company.
What about, so go ahead, sorry.
I was just going to say, I would think if they registered for their warranty, then yes, contact them. But if they didn't, then no.
Yeah, I'm with
They're
you.
probably already dead. They ND'd into their pants. Hit femoral artery.
And Foss, I'm with you in the final analysis. I was thinking about it in terms of, it's a consumer good. It's a product safety recall. And though, like Procter & Gamble isn't going to get a hold of every end user, this is an example where there are numbers that are limited enough that I began to wonder, well, what if there was a system in place during a recall like this where through the FFL transfer, so that perhaps an FFL could notify one of their customers. I would hate to be, and that's I was trying to think of the perspective from an FFL, like how horrible it would be to be hamstrung by not being able to contact one of their customers and feel almost a part of the liability of any injury or accident that would follow. I'd hate to have that go on, though. And I said I do agree with you, Foss. I don't think it's proper, but I sort of wish it was there. And that ability was available, I guess.
I don't know.
You're sketched out completely.
Well, yeah. I was thinking if they gave the distributor notice and the distributor gave the gun shops notices, and then they contact who they sold the gun to, rather than the company digging through records to find who owns the guns.
That's an excellent modification. That's closer to something to be responsible and realistic. I dig that.
Yeah, that's it's an interesting thought.
Wonder if there's been any lawsuits over that. Somebody get hurt?
I don't know. This I found out through Shooting Times magazine, the most recent newsstand issue. And from what I remember, it was just ones that have shipped since first of the year. So there may have been a couple of incidents or something. Oh, pardon. But I haven't done any further research. It's more just like tossing it out there.
On the Kimber website, it says certain serial numbers that were shipped from January 10th, 2022 through February 14th, 2022.
Oh, that's not bad.
Firearms assembled with the subject firing pin safety block may release multiple rounds from a single trigger pull.
Oh, so that's not as bad. It's not like it goes off when you rack the gun.
Well, that's what I was. Degrees of, as in not bad. Like, that's not bad. Yeah.
Well, I've had a handgun that went off when you just racked it. So you never pulled the trigger in the first place.
I had a neighbor that died because his gun fell out of his shoulder holster, hit the ground, and went off. Shot him in the chest.
Oof.
Yeah, he was doing volunteer work at one of the rest stops, giving out coffee. And bent over, gun fell out, and went off.
What type of gun was it?
I don't remember.
Which was the one that had the problem that you had, Baron?
What was it? It was in 1911.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, it was at least 20 years ago. I don't remember what it was.
Yeah, I returned mine. Yikes. There are people like, oh, you should have kept it. I was like, yeah, I like not being in federal prison. It's nice. I recommend it. You should try it.
So here, I'll put a link to the recall notice on the Kimber site.
Helping to keep us safe long after midnight. The M5s.
So it doesn't, looking at the recalls, doesn't look like there's been a lot. There's one. I don't see a date on this one, but thumb safety recall must have been before 2013. Then there's one from 2013, one from 2019, and then this last one. That's the only recalls on their website.
That's quite a few from just one manufacturer. I mean, I don't know how common it is. That's not the kind of thing I really pay that much attention to, but that seems like an awful lot.
I didn't think it was an awful lot, but I don't like you were saying. I don't know either how many, how common the recalls are. I don't.
Yeah, I'm fresh to this role as a consumer reporter. Very little perspective, and as a firearm owner, especially of new firearms as well. Haven't been in the game all that long.
I will
Didn't
say
Remington have a problem with the M700 going off when you'd close the bolt?
Oh,
That's way more freaky to me.
when I was at Cabela's the other day, they have a bunch of Micro 9s, Kimber Micro 9s, and I kind of like the look of the Bel Air. I look at it every time I'm there, and I'll go look at what used guns they have, and right next to that is where all the Kimber Micro 9s are. I'll look at the pretty colors.
That's a great gun. I miss mine. Thing was so tiny.
Yeah.
For a 9mm.
Now, is the Bel Air, is it in blue or is it like Bel Air in other colors? Okay, Bel Air is what is it? Oh, geez, what do they call that blue? Powder blue, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, so like the 50s, and they're like maybe riffing Bel Air like the Chevy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I gotcha. Do they have a coral? Maybe coral pink is on its way.
So goddamn bacon's out there. Good evening and Sunny Guns. Howdy, howdy.
I don't think you would like the Micro 9 though. It's single action. It's got a safety.
I know. That's for me. That's the one drawback, but I just like how they look. Overall, I like how the Kimbers look. I know some people complain about the Kimbers, but Kimber is one of the largest handgun producers. So if they have, just as a round number, if there's 1,000 problems with the Kimbers and 500 problems with Smith & Wesson, if they're making twice as many guns, it's the same percentage problems.
Mm-hmm.
And offhand, I don't have the numbers of each manufacturer. This is just based on what I've heard. And from what I've heard, like the Kimber 1911s, the problem normally with the magazines, that switching to better magazines will help the jamming issues. Which again, this is just what I've been told. I have no experience with Kimbers. Have you guys?
Branching off from that comment, mag maintenance. How often do you guys do maintenance on your magazines?
Never.
I'll clean mine probably every few gun trips, or if I see it's dirty, then I'll break them down and then wipe them down.
I'm less frequent than that. But I can't remember where it was that I was in a conversation. We were talking about feeding issues and what to do about them, springs. And then there's the old saw about do you keep them loaded or do you not? As far as keeping them loaded, everything that I've ever seen has indicated that keeping a magazine loaded is, that spring, it isn't going to do anything harmful in the long run. I mean, the long run, we're not talking about 100 years here kind of thing. But I don't really consider it to be such a big deal. However, on my EDC, I will go ahead and drop the plate off the bottom of that and run through it every once in a while. It's just that kind of little extra something. And I sort of like working, with things. I like the smell of poppies, and doing something with that because I don't have reason to draw it. I don't usually, I don't fire it that often either. So it's clean, but I'll run through the barrel and I'll take the clip apart, or the magazine. The barrel, I did it. Take the magazine apart, the mag apart. Yeah, I don't. Maybe quarterly, I think. Yeah, buzz bunnies, too many of them.
Some of it is just if I know for certain, then I will. It'll bug me, Last night after the overnight, I was talking with Baron, and I had my CHP gun out, and I was talking to him, and we're talking about a little bit about cleaning, and I touched inside the slide, and it was dirty, and I knew that it was going to bug me now that I knew it was dirty. So while we were talking, I broke it down and just wiped. I didn't do a thorough cleaning, but just kind of wiped everything down to get the bulk of the junk out.
Is that reflective of the approach that you would have with any other, like say appliance or something like that? You want to be, or you're bothered by something that isn't like up to spec or your personal spec at least?
Yep. I have taken the toaster outside and disassembled it to clean it before because I looked down inside and saw, crumbs that were in the nooks and crannies.
Crumbs from like 2 years ago.
No, because I have done that a couple times.
Just for a second, I'll riff on that. I had not cleaned this toaster oven that I've had of crumbs. I didn't realize that it had a little tray at the bottom you could pull out. So I had been just pulling out the rack and shaking it over the sink. And then I was kind of doing a deep clean on it. And this was just within the last couple of weeks. And I went up under it and just having to pull back, there was some extra of the cloth I was using that snagged across the bottom. And this little tray just came sliding out. Like, oh my God, for real, all this time, dude, really?
Well, even if you clean the crumb tray, there'll still be stuff stuck on the inside. So if you shake it, you'll probably still get a little bit.
And Foss, there is something that's particularly satisfying about that sort of activity, that kind of exercise, just like whack it, just like doing everything you can to get every bit out. Now, I'm not going to go ahead and do the spit and polish thing or get in there with a toothbrush or anything, but seeing something come out of something else like that is satisfying, definitely.
I sometimes will, you see a little spot, so you grab a rag and you clean that spot, and you realize now that's cleaner than all the other spots. Mm-hmm. So I'll just kind of keep going until everything's clean.
Yeah, it's a progressive. It's like, oh no, and it's like Ripley cleaning off Rebecca's face in Aliens. I made a clean spot.
The goddamn bacon says it sounds like the same problem Keltec had with their CMR PMR 30. Though if I remember rightly, it was the way the cartridges were loaded. And Sunny Guns said, we have a 9mm Kimber Rapide in the rotation that runs great. Zero issue so far. First Kimber that it hasn't had function issues. The Rapides are beautiful, I think. Really nice looking guns.
I'd have to look into it, but I wonder if the problem with their 1911s is they're too tight. Like, do they have the same problem with their 9mm as they do as their 45s?
Everybody I've heard has talked about the 45s, so I don't know.
Okay, so if you get a 45 and it's too tight, they don't have a integrated feed ramp. part of the feed ramp is on the frame of the the lower part, and part of the feed ramp is on the barrel. And if you try to feed like a hollow point, it'll get hung up there and jam the gun. You've heard about people polishing their feed ramp to make their 1911 work.
Yeah.
The reason
here's a picture of the Rapide for those who might not know.
The reason that it's malfunctioning isn't because the feed ramp isn't polished. It's because it's too tight. So you're polishing it to help it not snag. Because there's not enough
making more
room.
Clearance.
Yeah. Usually, if that's the case, you just got to break it in. And that's expensive because who wants to put 1,000 rounds through a gun that's jamming? That's a lot of money. But I would not trust my life to a tight 1911 at all.
Yeah, that's one thing I've heard about the 1911s that were issued for World War II, that they were all kind of loose just to make sure that they worked.
Yep. Especially when they get dirty. They need a little room for all that shit to move around in there.
Someday I will have a 1911, I think, but I don't know when. So I'm fighting the urge to collect because I tend to, once I get one thing, I want 10 things of the same thing. And I know that. My wife knows that. And that was when I got my first gun. That's what she asked me. Are you collecting now? It's like, no. I told her I'm just planning on having 3, a large handgun, a small handgun, and a rifle.
Truly a case of the best laid plans of mice and men, eh, Mouse?
Yes, I will admit I have more than 3. I feel
my name
more
is
than
Bob,
3.
and I have a gun problem.
But
I have a problem too.
each one has a purpose. So that's kind of the template that I've used, that I won't buy a gun unless it has a defined purpose. I've got my carry guns. I've got a couple that are mainly for when I take new shooters to the range. Like the 380 EZ. That's its main purpose is so it's a smaller caliber, easy to shoot, to take to the range. Like my Marlin 60. If I ever needed to hunt small game, I've got a small caliber that isn't going to, a caliber that won't explode an animal that I'm trying to eat.
No, just bounce around in the lung, right?
Yeah. So there is a purpose for each one, and it is getting tougher to find that purpose for guns that I want.
I know exactly what you could do. You're going to have to cut this out so your wife doesn't hear it.
She doesn't listen to this.
No, good. All you got to do is say, honey, I need a gun that I can buy magazines for now that they've banned the magazines for the guns I own. So I need a 1911.
No, that wouldn't really work.
It wouldn't work?
Yeah. I'll say the only gun that I have that didn't have a purpose other than I wanted it was the Super Blackhawk, the 44 Magnum, just because I wanted a large, kind of goofy, ridiculous gun. And I couldn't find a 500. And I came across the Super Blackhawk, so I bought it.
So that still do check the box. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I still do want a 500 though.
So that one you got to check the box of because it's completely badass. Should allow at least one of those a year, maybe.
Yeah, it is. That I've kind of gotten used to it. First time I took it out shooting, it was the style of the gun was, it's a revolver, so it's with wood grips and it moves around a little more, and it's a high powered caliber, but it's heavy, which helps. So after a few range trips, I've kind of gotten used to it, and It's
Yeah, you got to learn how to shoot those different than a semi-auto.
yeah.
It's easier to just let it rock back. Unless it's like a 500, you're going to smack yourself in the face. Got to be careful with those.
Yeah, I did say Super Black Hawk. Give me just a second.
So, Baron, do you feel that you have to have a particular reason for a new firearm purchase then?
Yeah, I can afford it. That's my reason. I can afford
Hey.
it. I want it.
So,
Goodness.
that one.
See, that definitely checks the because it's just badass box.
It is.
No hesitation.
I love that sound.
Oh yeah.
I don't know why anybody would not want to have that sound on there.
Oh, he's talking about me. I removed that sound. That clicking is the sound of it locking into the next chamber, so you can't rotate it backwards. I did a free spin modification to mine, so I can go left or counterclockwise or clockwise.
How do you do that? Curiosity.
You got to file down the what's that thing called? The paw?
The hand? Hand?
Yeah, one of those. Whatever pushes the thing up.
Yeah, the hand.
I got like 4 hours of sleep today.
I've heard a couple different terms, but usually you hear people call it the hand.
Now, I've definitely had some that were way old and way shot out that you could just do that natural.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering, I think, and I have it at hand. Can I do that with no, I can't. I thought that maybe there was an exception in an NAA Mini that I have, but nope, it doesn't lock up properly. I can't remember which one it was I was thinking of now. That would have been a smaller caliber, not as small as 22. But it probably was also old, and likely an Iver Johnson, because most of my old revolvers are.
Talking about big boomers, I really want to get a Raging Judge, the one that does 454 Kazul and 410 shotguns, 45 Colt.
Mm-hmm. I feel you on that one.
Yeah, that's another one I would like is a 454. I've kind of, ever since I knew a guy that had one and I saw it, we didn't shoot it. It was just at his house laying on his floor.
I just got guns laying around all over the place.
It was awesome looking, though. I've always kind of wanted one since then. Sunny Guns is saying Paul on a Ruger.
So I'm not losing my mind. Well, I might be. It's just that's not evidence yet.
Yeah, the Kazul revolver that I would want and that I've drooled over, it was in a case, so the glass was there. It didn't actually get wet. Was the Red Hawk, the Alaskan. That just that pure badass right there. But those things are like, I don't know what, $1,500-$1,600.
Yeah.
Like, holy hell.
And I wonder, with that short of a barrel, I bet you your 44 mag has better performance. Even though it's a less powerful round, you got the longer barrel. It's close anyway, I bet.
Yeah, I'm just looking at 454. So trying to remember. So he must have been a Ruger that he had, because it kind of looked like this one. And again, this is almost 30 years ago that I saw it. So it was kind of like this one. This one's a Bisley. I don't remember if it was Bisley or not. I just remember seeing on it that it said 454.
Those are nice.
Is that unfluted? It's really tiny on my screen. Cylinder
Yeah,
unfluted.
it's got to be.
It is unfluted.
I love unfluted
I
cylinders.
mean, look how thin the chamber walls are on that.
Oh
And
yeah.
it's only a 5-shot. They barely got enough room. They're not fluting that.
It's like the easiest way to make something look custom. A revolver look custom, not fluting the cylinder. That's great.
It's to not finish the gun. That's how. I always find that funny. Like, you buy a car and they're like, "Oh, the model that doesn't have carpet in it is more expensive because it's custom." It's like, what? It costs more to put no carpet in than to put carpet in it. How does that make sense?
Doesn't.
Well, usually you're paying a lot of money anyway. So if you it's the kind of, if you have to ask, you can't afford it.
I usually can't afford it.
And I've never asked.
I just bought my 3rd gun safe. Well, actually, rifle safe. I have a handgun safe, so that'd be number 4. I'm running out of room.
Yeah, I ran out of room, but I've got small safes. But I don't know. Are you more for the everything in one place, or stuff kind of spread around?
I'd like to have them all in one room, but they're not at the moment.
I've kind of gone for a little bit here and a little bit there.
Yeah.
Just so they're not all in one space.
Kind of riffing on that. What about staging? Like different parts of the house kind of thing.
Shower gun?
Yeah.
To a certain degree, but it's not like there's one in every room. Just kind of more strategically placed.
Mine are more focused on the likely portals. So the doors, 3 in my house, one's on the lower level, 2 on the main floor. The windows that are closest, the windows that wouldn't require in each room. If there's a room that has a window that's more than 8 feet up in the air, I don't sweat it as much. My home is kind of banked into a hill, but anything on the it's the front half. There's something at each corner. As a just in case, sort of thing. But I was thinking about whether or not that was a little bit of just a little bit too much. And I'm also, please don't laugh at me. I'm laughing at myself. I also misplace guns sometimes. You laughed anyway, man. I was chasing after a 38 that I picked up. Barbecue was like giving me all kinds of holy hell about it. I just didn't remember where I had put it down. And now if I put it down, I don't mean, it was like, on the table next to the chair or, the sink or something like that. But sometimes I hide things from myself inadvertently. So I was thinking about trimming down the number that I have staged down so that I know exactly where they are. And, before I kick it back over to you, Baron, there, it's because I had someone who wanted to bring a child over to my house, and I needed to go through and make sure I had the nooks and crannies clear. That's not something I just needed to take care of that. So go ahead, Baron.
I do one worse than that. I forget what guns I own.
Oh yeah,
and then I go through my safe. I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot I own that.
Yeah, I surprise myself regularly with that. I'll crack open a rifle case and be just like, when did I get this?
Yep.
I ran across that the other, just a couple of months back. Didn't realize that I had an Iver Johnson 22 lever. Don't remember ever buying it. Don't remember bringing it home. Don't remember the rifle case that I put it in, but it's mine. It's no one else's. Who couldn't have gotten here otherwise? So I was pleased. I surprised myself kind of frequently with that kind of stuff, though. Don't have the best memory.
I don't have enough where I've forgotten that I've owned something up, like forgot that I bought it. I have misplaced stuff before, like not too long ago. I couldn't find my PPK. So I, went through my bench here a couple times, looked upstairs, checked the car, came back, checked the bench, rechecked everywhere, and it was on my bench, and I had moved the thing it was sitting on several times. And just didn't realize it was sitting on top of it. So. But Ken Thompson saying my 12 gun safe fits only 7 average size rifles. Should I sue for false advertising, or 12 guns? Did they mean 12? It's seems to be 12 guns with no accessories, no optics.
And there's a trick to this. You have to alternate up and down. Barrel up, barrel down, barrel up, barrel down. You can get 12 guns in there usually if you do that. You just can't have like a bipod or anything on it.
Yeah, after you told me that, I did do that in safe down here, and that helped.
It works.
Everything's not banging together.
Yeah, otherwise you're scratching shit when you're taking stuff in and out.
But it's kind of like the 4-man tent, fits 2.5 people,
right?
Laying on top of each other.
Yeah.
Stacking, racking and stacking. You can get a half a dozen folks in here.
What I do, this is just what I do. If it has a wood stock, barrel down, because I do not want oil running down the barrel into the stock and rotting the wood. So if it's polymer, it goes barrel up. If it's wood, it goes barrel down. That's my strategy.
Nice tip.
I don't have any wood stock rifle.
That is smart. You won't have to worry about wood rot.
That's kind of why I went with polymer, but the non-wood fiberglass. It's probably not fiberglass anymore. But yeah, so my Marlin and my Howa or synthetic stocks, just so I wouldn't have to worry about them.
Especially
sorry, go ahead.
In the part of Washington, you're like the west side, that is super humid. So your stocks would swell, your barrels would shift.
Right now in here, it's, according to my clock, 48% humidity.
Yep. Oh, there's his problem. Yeah, you can't do that.
Well, that comment from Ken Thompson brings this to mind. So, mags in when they're in a safe, yes or no?
No.
I do. Handguns, unless they're waiting to be cleaned, they're loaded and one in the chamber. Rifles, the magazines are loaded for the ARs. Magazines loaded, but empty chamber. Bolt action and shotguns, those aren't loaded.
What's the rationale behind that?
Because it seemed like the thing to do.
I got you. Right on.
For the handguns, it's so if I picked up a handgun, that handgun is going to work. I picked it up because I needed it. With the rifle, probably just more. I have more familiarity with handguns than rifles. So I can, charge the AR after I pick it up if I need it. And then the bolt action, I'm not going to pick that up for self-defense.
Only if they're wearing body armor, right?
Well, I'm going to
shoot them in the groin.
Groin and face.
There you go. Goddamn Bacon's got a good question. Eastern Washington is not humid.
Yeah, Eastern Washington is dry.
Yeah. You don't sweat. You just dry up. That's all you do.
No, you sweat. You know, when I lived in Pullman, and I know there's places that are hotter, but it's 6, 7 in the morning, and you're already 70 degrees plus. So it's going to be a hot day.
So as far as mags in a gun safe, I do it kind of the opposite. If the magazine fits flush, or if it's a tube, like a shotgun, then it's loaded. If it's an AR-15, I got loaded mags sitting on a shelf. Because that's the only way I can get guns to fit in the safe. If you got a big old 30-round magazine sticking out, you're not getting as many guns in there.
Yeah, and you have more than I do, so that's
Yeah, I can.
More of an issue for you.
I'd need way more safe. I got a problem. Help.
Ken is saying mags in the AR loaded, none in the pipe, and marked with the toilet paper tube that says loaded. Shotgun also loaded with toilet paper tube.
Shit bun?
Well, he corrects himself. Shotgun. So, others unloaded.
That cracked me. I'm glad I was muted. That cracked me the hell up.
Shit bun.
Shit bun. So, fellas, but before you can get a safe, you've got 3 extra long handguns, whichever it is. You have firearms that don't have room in a safe. How do you store them?
Not loaded.
You've got a lockdown?
All my stuff stays locked up, but that's I have kids.
Yeah.
So I want, I keep the guns are in safes, and the ammo, there's a little bit in the safe down here, but they're either put away or I've got upstairs. It's actually like a gym locker, and it's just to keep the kids out of it. It's not to stop people from breaking in.
Keeps honest people out, right?
Yeah, because
that's my rule.
Safes are really actually kind of easy to cut open.
Yeah, they're not worth the extra money.
No, there's lots of videos that you can see on YouTube where, does not take that long. And when I worked at the shipyard in Bremerton, we would, the decommissioned submarines, we would cut them up and then they'd sell the metal for scrap. And I have used a Sawzall and cut through at least 1 inch thick hull with a Sawzall. And it's, doesn't take that long. It'll pretty much zip right through it.
It is noisy though.
Yeah. But if they're in here, where they can get to my safe, then they're going to have time, because it either means I'm incapacitated or I'm not here. So there's nothing to stop them.
Good reason to have a security system in your house.
Yeah.
Instead of buying a $2,000 safe, spend that money on security.
But kind of my philosophy is they're designed, I've got my security system, and the safe is designed just to slow them down, to add time.
My strategy is to just have really cool guns, so they get slowed down looking at them all. Like, whoa, look at this shit.
Wow.
Whoa, this is 1939? How do you get that?
Ken Thompson saying, buy another safe or hide real good with no ammo. But I have kids. Before kids, I had them piled in a corner of my closet, all loaded.
And you can always get a doorknob. Lock the closet.
I've thought about doing that.
Because that's like $20.
Well, more than a doorknob, adding not quite a safe room, but you know,
Securing
a
it.
stronger door than an interior door, and then
Yeah.
a good lock. Never did it, but have thought about it.
I'd love to do the Yankee setup where we just built a gun room.
I saw a guy that did a gun room, but he had a window.
What?
Yeah. I don't know.
Some things you just have to admire in sunlight, I guess.
Maybe it's a trick. He wants you to break in. No, the
I'm
guns
not-
have firing pins.
I'm
You
not
can
trapped
break
in
in.
here with you. You're trapped in here with me.
Yeah, exactly.
You can break in, but you can't break out.
Oh, Pink
Once you
Panther's
crawl
up
through,
there.
like a metal slat closes behind you.
Oh, geez. A one-way? Yeah.
Yeah.
Pink
Yeah,
Panther's saying hidden rooms, doorway behind a bookshelf. I've wanted for a while now to do the slide out,
Pocket door?
No, in the stairs, in the stairway. Like
yeah.
one of the risers slides out, and then you've got storage there.
Oh, that's trick.
I've seen it, and that's another thing which I've kind of thought about doing, but just haven't gotten up the gumption to do it.
I've seen a couple of really interesting ones that were historic, so not modern construction. One of them was a former home that was on the Underground Railroad, and it had little pockets and cubbies all over the place. Some stuff that was like in the dining room, for instance. There's this huge built-in, I don't know, you call it a buffet, I guess. And on the side of that, it was an interesting system, almost like a puzzle box, where you wouldn't have been able to detect it, but you push this, you move this forward, you move that around, and then pop, this thing would pop open, and it was big enough to put a small person in. Never would have seen it before. And in one other place, it would have been built probably in the 1920s. It was one where it was a stairwell behind a false wall, and didn't have any idea that was there. Of course, I wasn't looking. Pardon. But being shown those things, I was just jaw drops and eyes get big like a little kid. Like, that's fascinating, the way people will do things to try and secret something away like that.
There was I saw a guy that took a closet, a small closet, and when you look in, it's just a closet, but there's a pair of shoes that are nailed to the floor, and you pull the shoes forward, and part of the floor slides forward, and there's a safe that's sunk into the floor. So all the floor in the, a section of the floor in that closet will slide forward, and then
That's
you can
cool.
access the safe. I've got the floor safe, which you will not find unless you tear up all the flooring. That it's easy to get to, but you don't know it's there. Tara Smith's Kitchen's out there. Good evening.
Hey, Dara.
She's laid up with COVID again, so hopefully she's feeling better.
That's no fun.
She's had it a couple times, so she kind of knows what she's in for. And hopefully each time has been a little easier than the last time.
Mine was different every single time. It was weird. But I got a different variant each time.
Do you have a punch card that you get a free COVID
Yeah.
after?
I wish, man.
I don't know. I've been, I guess, lucky that I've never had it. So. Ken Thompson's asking for Eastern Washington people, where do you guys shoot? I shoot at Fish Trap, but usually a lot of people there, and some are not safety conscious and freak out at me. Oh, and freak me out, sorry. Wearing my plates next time. There's a place over here, Western Washington. It's called The Pit. It's a shooting area that I've heard is like that, where it's kind of no holds barred. One of my buddies told me he was out there with his dad, and there was a guy riding a dirt bike on top of the berm
Yep.
while people were shooting.
Holy Jesus.
I've never been out there, and especially after hearing the stories, I probably will never go out there.
As far as this question about Eastern Washington, it's a little tricky because you can start a wildfire pretty easy. So depending on what time of year it is, you can't shoot outside. You got to go to a range.
And when I lived in Pullman, there was a farmer that would let, one of my friends got permission from the farmer to shoot on his land.
Mm-hmm.
And that was until other people would go out there and then not clean up. So he kind of got tired of that and stopped letting people shoot on his property. And then one other spot I think was just public land. And as long as you're following the guidelines for shooting on public lands, and I don't remember how far off the road you have to be and certain distance from buildings, which I guess
500 feet.
Yeah, I think that also includes outhouses. So make sure you're not near the outhouse.
Yep. Can you imagine being in a honey bucket? Somebody starts letting off AR-15 rounds next to you. That'd be bad.
Yeah.
I've seen photos where they shoot at the honey bucket and it's just littered with holes. Can you imagine using one of those? You're like, please don't shoot me. Please don't shoot me.
You have to raise the orange flag. Didn't you see that? The instruction?
It's bad enough when you have to look for hornets. So,
oh, yeah.
Oh, ooh.
I don't know about being shot at. Always, even though it's kind of disgusting, always look down the hole before you sit down.
Ew.
Just to make sure.
There's a raccoon in there. Yep. My general rule is if you have to sit down, you're just going to hold it. I'm not using one of those.
I tried to have that, but pit toilets all over the place. Like when I was a kid, I tried not to, but especially as a little kid, sometimes that just wasn't happening. It was like horrifying some places. There's a state park that's north of where I grew up, and it was like a notorious thing that you would have to eventually go in the thing, and didn't ever dig that. I can't imagine growing up. My father actually lived on a farm that did not have indoor plumbing, and so he grew up the first 5-6 years of his life where in the summer you had a summer kitchen because you didn't cook inside, and you always had to do the trot out to the outhouse.
So Pink Panther shared a picture of a hidden room behind a bookcase. And I can't make it larger, but I just figured out that I can drag the picture from Gilded to a tab.
Yep.
I don't know. I just tried to
click on the photo. You can hit open original. It'll open in a web page.
Oh, I just grabbed it and then dragged it up.
You should be able to zoom in.
Not on my.
If you hit the control button on your keyboard and then the scroll wheel on your mouse, try that.
There we go.
There you go.
There we go.
Eureka.
Make it a little bigger. It looks bigger in the. Oh, too big. Hang on, let me shift this down to the other screen so I'm not.
And then if you use the arrow keys, you should be able to pan up and down.
Well, there we go. I had it on the same screen that I have the StreamYard, so I couldn't see what I was doing.
Gotcha.
But there we go. Those are cool when they're done right and you cannot tell it's there.
Yeah, the only thing you got to worry about is airflow. Like if you can feel air current coming from behind a bookshelf, I guarantee there's something behind that bookshelf.
Well, and you got to soundproof it so you can't hear the muffled screams.
Yep. Foss knows all the tricks.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Yeah, it looks like they just took a closet and did that to it.
Goddamn Bacon is saying, speaking of, there are several honey buckets around cycling paths about 25 miles from me where people have actually left reviews on Google Maps. Betting the ones where you are have rather different ones.
I think I just learned something. Honey bucket is the same as a porta potty.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it was
Now I got it.
it's a company name.
Yeah. Might be regional. But yeah, we got those here.
Around here, the company that it's not called Porta Potty, but one of them is Porta John is actually one of the company names.
Yeah,
but I
I've
did
heard
not
that.
know. I'm glad to have learned that. I mean, I don't know how glad I am to have learned it, but I've learned something tonight.
Yeah, Honey Bucket is a pretty unique name for a plastic room full of shit.
Well, I get it, like Honey Wagon. I mean, I did the Intuit from that it had something to do, but that's why my reference was immediately to a pit toilet, something that was already in ground, because Honey Wagon is what, well, at least in the Midwest, what you call the unit that comes around and vacuums out something that has an in-ground, like a vault that you drop in. Yeah. Honey Bucket. Be a great band name, eh?
Looking at the Honey Bucket website, they have a hashtag Honey Bucket selfies.
Oh my God.
So you can submit your pictures in front of a honey bucket and you can win your own honey bucket.
Oh my God.
You know, the whole bathroom selfie, I don't know how that got started or why it persists, but I find that to be one of the most ridiculous things that people will do. Like, why in the hell do you want to see a picture of somebody in a goddamn bathroom anyway?
I don't know. I don't enjoy everything involved with it. I just want to be done with it and go about my business. I don't want to dawdle in the bathroom.
You don't pull a Yankee and have like your legs fall asleep reading comics for 2 hours?
I don't take a phone unless it happens to be in my pant pocket. I don't use my phone. I don't use my tablet in the bathroom.
Smart man.
That's how you get pink eye.
The man enjoys his hygiene. Good job. Oh, damn.
Pink Panther's saying that talking about the shelves, the hidden room. The company in Columbus, Ohio, they sell the hardware and you build the shelves. So it's a do-it-yourself kit.
That's cool. So Honey Bucket is in Colorado, Texas, California, Utah, Oregon, Washington.
If Pink knows, how much are the kits? And like what is it that constitutes the hardware? Is it just like an extra striker plate for that split in that thing? Hinges? Like what's part of the gear, if you know?
One of the neat kind of more along the lines of the shelves and stuff that open. I saw one that it's like a picture frame, and behind the picture frame there's an opening, and so you can basically fit like a long gun down in between the studs in the wall. So you just remove the picture and then you've got access to the hole, and then you feed out your shotgun.
I think that kind of thing you wouldn't have to do as much feeding, and that might work with, like the I don't know what the mirror type is called, but the kind of thing, like the kind of mirrors that people will put on the back of a closet door, like a dressing mirror or whatever.
Yeah.
That might be that kind of thing would probably be suspect if you didn't have it in a better frame, though. It's kind of an obvious shape. But another thing is, and maybe attendant to the point that you were making, Foss, about, it's not to stop, this is to slow down. how many people who are going to break in your home are going to go around and feel for the air, feel for air behind bookshelves or that kind of thing anyway.
People that know you got guns.
Yeah,
And they can't find them.
Makes sense.
Pink is saying the locks. I think it's like $179. That's cheaper than I thought it'd be. Yeah, there's wall safes that are long enough, tall enough to fit a long gun. They're not safes. They're more of like a
cabinet.
Yeah.
Security cabinet.
And they're really expensive. I think they run like more than $300.
Oh yeah.
And it's really thin metal. So.
To go just between studs, so we're talking like 18.
Yeah.
To
go between studs.
It'll fit like 2 ARs.
I'd rather come up with a homebrew solution than spend that sort of dough for something that small. I mean,
because that could be an option, like for our walk-in closet. That's a place where a full-length mirror would be appropriate, so it wouldn't look out of place.
Good combo.
I did have a guy that I work with. He said his friend had a coffee table that had the little put the little magnet on the certain spot, and then it opens up.
Mm-hmm.
And his friend had left the room, and his kids opened up, and there was, he was only out of the room for a couple minutes, but his kids got into it, and so that's something to keep in mind.
These kids walk around with magnets in their pockets?
I don't know. Don't know the exact circumstances, but it sounded like, it was fairly easy for them just to understand how to open it.
You remember these videos on like smart guns where like, it won't go off unless the authorized user's fingerprint is on it. You just stick a magnet on it.
Yeah.
It'll fire. Yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot of electronic locks where, because they use a solenoid, that's a weakness, is the magnets, because you just slap a huge magnet on a powerful magnet and it'll pull that solenoid open. Not that I'm telling people how to break into things. That just
we're warning them not to trust that.
Yeah.
Writing that down, right? A large magnet solenoid release. Yeah, there's a way to defeat it. I mean, anything that's made can be defeated. So, yeah.
They just need to outlaw big magnets. Problem solved.
No more magnets.
And make it illegal to assemble a big magnet out of a bunch of small magnets. Like an 80% big magnet. We can fix it. Just pass more laws. No problem.
What do I do with my strong magnets that I already have? Are they going to be grandfathered?
You got to serialize it and register it.
Because I do have a bunch of strong neodymium magnets laying around because they're kind of fun to play with. They can be dangerous. I've had one cut my finger open because I got too close. I wasn't paying attention, and they snapped together on my finger.
Yeah.
And I've had them shatter too, where one hits the other and then just shatters. Psh. Hey, Smaggy 42's out there. Good morning. Yeah, goddamn Bacon saying, gave away all the secrets because he carries magnets, rare earth magnets. I made a toy for my kid to play with one time when my son was younger. That it was just a dowel and then some magnets that were switched so they would repel.
Mm-hmm.
Put them on the dowel so you could push them down, then they wouldn't touch each other, but they kind of bounce when you let them go. They just kind of bounce around. Yeah, there's little magnets kind of stuck all over the house.
You remember, what were those toys they had for kids like 10 years ago? Like where it's a magnet and then like a strut. You connect them together and build stuff. And the kids were eating them.
Oh yeah, they're
super dangerous.
Those little magnets, are kid killers because they get in the intestines, and then when they're in different parts of the fold, and they get near each other, they can tear through the lining of the stomach.
Yep.
And or attach to each other, and they're there until they'd have to be surgically removed.
Yep. You think anyone's ever been killed by one of those huge magnets? I've always heard about like getting hands crushed.
I've never heard of anyone killed, but yeah, I've heard stories of people getting their hands broken.
Yeah.
I mean, I've had ones where you couldn't pull them apart, and it was hard to slide them apart. Basically, you had to stick it on a corner of a counter or something and, slide one off. Pink is saying kinetics.
Could be. Yeah, isn't that funny? When I was a kid, you'd play with a stick, poke your brother in the eye. They're like, oh, that's too dangerous. Play with these magnets, it'll kill you.
Oh, there's lots of stuff that, you play with that could kill you. Lawn darts.
Oh, yeah.
Mini bikes. Firecrackers. All the fun stuff.
The 1970s and 80s. Childhood abandoned. Yeah, lawn darts. I mean, but I've seen the revised version of those where they're rounded. It's just like they have some kind of, I don't know, like lead shot in the end of them or whatever. I mean, the principle's the same, but not nearly as fun, because when you could wing those things at like trees, you sharpen the tips intentionally. Those were brutal.
Well, that was the whole thing that made them kind of fun and cool, is that they'd stick in the ground.
So did they outlaw the selling? Can you still have them? How did that work?
Usually that's what'll happen, is they'll ban them from sale, but they don't outlaw the possession. Kind of like the 3-wheel.
Like, could I make one right now?
For personal use. You couldn't sell it.
Put it on YouTube. You think they'd delete my account? How to make a lawn dart?
There's a guys that'll, I don't know what the tower is, but they'll throw stuff off a tower. And they made a huge lawn dart, and I forget what they stuck it in, when they let it go, if it was a safe or something like that, just to see,
what would happen.
Yeah. Something hit something and break. But they've got videos of throwing bowling balls down to trampolines and stuff like that. So I don't think it's illegal to have for yourself, but you can't sell them.
I was a security guard in a high rise in an unnamed city, and the 12 stories, except the 12th floor was a good 20 foot high, and then there was on top of that all the like air handling and the apparatus for the bank of elevators, and in a kind of an idea that was brought on by the old David Letterman thing, where they would put stuff inside of a hydraulic press just to watch it squish.
Yeah.
And they would also toss things. Like I went up, I did like, it was produce night one night. And the most satisfying one was a cantaloupe. It made an amazing pop after dropping that far. But I did eggs. Yeah, just all kinds of stuff, all kinds of crazy stuff. The rubber bouncy balls. Never found them. It was a good time.
Goddamn Bacon saying another fun death trap, the humble trampoline.
True.
I've only been on a trampoline a couple times, and that was as an adult. Never jumped on a trampoline as a kid.
Now that I think about it, maybe I messed up my knee with the trampoline.
I know they took my son. There's a trampoline park near us, and there's a tendon that runs all the way down your leg, and I strained that jumping on trampolines with him when we went to the trampoline park. It took a few months for it to clear up.
There's a place here in town that has it's a big arcade. I mean, very large. They have 2 courts of Spaceball. Spaceball is an Olympic-sized trampoline surrounded by a net, and in between there are 2 chutes, cylindrical chutes. So it's divided by netting. The 2 courts are divided by netting as well. Now, towards the bottom, the final 3 feet underneath, that's clear so that you may either roll to pass to the other side, that sort of deal. But the idea there is that you toss a ball it's a rubber like a playground ball kind of thing. You wing that through one of the 2 chutes, and if it touches the trampoline on the other side, that's a point. That is outrageous amounts of fun. I haven't done it in years, but the whole double bounce routine, the kind of thing where you do a short hop and come right back down to throw your opponent off, that's one of the best kill moves there is.
Their legs buckle under them.
Yep.
That hurts.
You can score all day long. It takes them forever to get up.
Yeah.
Yeah, our school district had a large trampoline, and after the district decided to get rid of it for safety reasons, the PE teacher, I don't know, bought it, I got to assume, and had it in their backyard. I was a little bit too old at the time, but my younger brother, one of the PE teacher's kids, was same age, and that I can't imagine having that thing, because I was able to experience it when I was in elementary school, but that was all kinds of summer fun for them. One of those things where all the kids in the neighborhood were over there all summer long, all day long, bouncing on a trampoline.
He didn't offer them beer and back massages too, did he? Oh.
I don't think so. But then, come on, these are elementary school children.
Well, when you said his son, then it's like, oh, okay. Because as you started the story, I'm thinking, is he inviting kids over to his house to jump on his trampoline?
Now I follow. I wasn't even thinking about that angle, because it was actually a Miz. I was thinking about right on. Oh shit.
So what do you think? Should we light this candle?
Yeah, do it.
Is it time?
Yeah.
Okay, let me get ready. Got to close this search I did for honey buckets.
This is an awful lot of prep time to be lighting some sort of candle. Do I need to be forewarned or forearmed?
Here it is. There's the humble overnight Discord server. Do you want the honors?
Nope. She's your baby.
Okay. Let's see if this bot works.
Let me remove my hat out of respect.
Here's the command. So, We're going full Ragnarok, right? Cross your fingers. Oh, if you take the banner down.
Oh, yeah. There we go.
There we go. We ready?
Get it?
Uh-oh.
Houston, we have a problem.
Did I misspell it? Spelling is hard. Nothing.
Uh-oh.
Doing it live. What could go wrong?
Without a net.
Give me some time. Yeah, let me double check something. We'll see if a different user can do it. Okay, here we go. Nothing. To be continued. Wouldn't that be funny? If the server's fighting back, it's like, no, don't kill me.
Where
It has become sentient.
where are you at in
In general.
in general?
Let me see what's going on.
Well, the best laid plans of mice and men often go awry.
Apparently. I'll have to see if the bot is online. This is riveting.
Yeah, now you're getting heckled.
I am. I deserve it. I actually did a test, and it did work. Here, watch. It'll work here, right? Yeah, see? Fucking gone. Do the same thing in here. Nothing.
Oh,
No disassemble,
That's what
Stephanie.
I just started saying that.
Great mind, dude. Great mind.
I'm sorry, Dave. I can't do that.
Oh, good. That's better.
You could delete the server. I can't. You're the owner.
I don't know how to do that.
Does anything work? Let's try this. Use a towel.
I always bring a towel.
What
Bogart.
Man, this server really does not want to get killed.
Oh, gee.
That is the danger. Anyone could post anything they want right now, and we'd be live streaming. This could get really dangerous. Oh, you know what? Look at this. We have 3 different server rules now.
Huh. Let me put something in the private chat for you there, Baron. I have a question.
Why did you make me the tech advisor for the server?
Oh, you'll see.
Okay.
You're fired.
I'm fine. Oh, you think that's it?
Well, if you give that to me, I think I can speed things up here.
They need yours, not mine.
I don't know. Do I have it?
For your account.
Where do I have it? Hell if I know.
On your phone.
On my phone. Oh, is that the 2-step?
Yep, that's it.
I see.
It could be that this is a security feature to stop somebody from doing exactly what we're trying to do, even though it's our server. Yeah, that is it. I bet you it's got, we have 2-factor authentication enabled for moderation actions. That's why it's not working. Oh, that's weird. Looks like he did it.
There you go.
It's gone, folks. It doesn't exist.
Ba-dee.
Anticlimactic. It's just went out. It's just gone.
We should have had also Sprock Zarathustra going in the background. Dun, dun, dun. I mean, because it's like 9-10 minutes long, you know. Could have been a great comedy bit.
We're gonna have to clip that.
Moment of silence for the Discord server. All right. So everything's on Gilded now. There's a link in the description if you want to join us on the Gilded. For those who are not watching this, you won't know what happened.
They'll think they all got banned.
But I don't know. It's just kind of. I think it needed to be happening. Did. Just.
I'm about to get roasted here.
Hey, Smaggy, what's going on?
Hey, how's it going?
Oh,
Did you enjoy watching a monkey fuck a football there for 5 minutes?
No, that's a 3 monkey fuck there.
I mean, I had no idea what was going on, so I'm not sure if I just witnessed a murder or a suicide or a euthanasia. Not quite sure what's going on.
Well, it was supposed to be more of a Viking burial, but came out more as like a burning shit show.
Just like, he won't die. But yeah, that we did prove something. If you don't want someone deleting your server with a malicious bot, put in 2-factor authentication for moderation, then won't happen. I'm literally the highest user in that server. Couldn't do it.
Yep, took the big dog to come in and take care of business.
I mean, I'm no computer whiz, but you could have just went into the control tab and then hit Control Z a bunch of times and just undo. and you just have to hit it like every single time until you get back to the very start of the
So 2 years worth of Control Z's.
A short while later.
You know
What
what's
have you been up-
hilarious? Do you know how much time I spent on coding that bot for that moment? To not have it work.
Well, now you know.
No, I know. Yeah.
Knowing is half the battle. What have you been up to, Smeggy?
No, not too much. Just got done watching a movie called The Sister Brothers. It was pretty good. It's like
Oh,
old,
yeah. The
like,
Western.
like Gold Rush kind of thing. These two brothers, I guess their last name's Sister or whatever, and they're like kind of bounty hunters or whatever. So they're kind of tracking this dude down, and then craziness ensues. I won't really give nothing away. It's actually pretty good. It's got the dude, I always forget his name, but he's in with Will Ferrell and Step Brothers.
John C. Reilly.
Yeah, it's got that dude as like
Joaquin Phoenix.
a bounty hunter kind of dude.
It's a good movie. It's fun, too. It's all pre-cartridge guns. It's all black powder. It's a fun movie.
Yep. Yeah, I found that interesting when they were shooting, and then the dude like just takes the entire cylinder out and puts a different one in that's already been preloaded, and like puts the gun back together. I guess that was reloads back in the day.
Oh, yeah. Or you got a second gun. One of the two.
Isn't that the Walker, the Colt Walker, that does that? Interchangeable cylinders, or cylinders, bam, bam, bam.
I have no idea what it is.
Those are harder to do because you got to knock a pin out.
Mm.
The 1858 Remington New Army did that really easy. But I don't remember which one it is in the movie.
Yeah, I wouldn't know. Like, I don't know much about black powder. Really don't know much about revolvers. I sure as hell don't know much about black powder revolvers.
Okay. I have a show for you guys now. After that last shit show, I'm going to try to redeem myself. Here we go. I created another server to delete, just so you can see one get deleted.
Hail Ragnarok.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Just in case, man, I've got a lighter ready.
Okay, here's a server. It's got channels. Stuff in the channels. Okay, so let's do this command. Nope, not that. I put a special character in there that I do not have on my keyboard. Because I'm smart, right?
This is going great.
There, gone. It does work. It just doesn't work when you have the proper security system in place.
Job well done,
guess-
Baron.
I guess that does prove I did know what I was doing because I told you to enable that. So we didn't have someone do it. We just tried to do.
We got it done in the end. That's what counts.
Yeah.
Now the question, are we sure that the Gilded server is protected against something like that?
No, it's not.
Yep.
But they don't have bots like Discord does.
I mean, they do have bots. I know of a cat that says meow to you if you say his name.
Yeah, but the server owner has to make the bot. You can't, like, I can't invite that bot into another server.
Right.
So for someone to do what we just did, they'd have to be an admin in your server building a bot and then do that. So let's hope GWibs likes us because he's an admin in there.
Rogue bacon bots.
Yeah.
I
was
mean, I'd
thinking
be cool with getting hacked bacon.
I was thinking maybe cheeseburgers.
How about a machine gun bot? Every time you mention machine gun or NFA, it posts a machine gun GIF.
What if every time you mention the NFA, it automatically writes a letter to your congressman telling him to repeal the NFA?
There you go.
Nice touch.
Which, speaking of that, I don't know if you guys did already. I'm going to guess you did, but for anyone listening that might not be as cool as all of us, I hope you all wrote your people about the new assault weapons ban. Just remind them you're not down with that. You don't plan on voting for anyone who agrees with it. I guess it's in committee next Wednesday.
Foss, did our senators sponsor this bill? I hope they didn't write it.
Yeah.
Cheeseburgers. That is a good idea.
And if you're not into writing, I'm going to go ahead and right now drop the phone number for the Capitol switchboard out in the text chat.
Yep.
I have spent more time dialing that number in the last 18 months than the previous 40-something years. Damn.
And they're polite. You know, if you're polite, they're polite.
I'm supposed to be polite? What are you talking about?
In the grand scheme of things, right? We're talking to some intern or whatever most of the time when you call that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm joking.
Point is just to be like, hey, I just want to go on record and say I don't support this. And they go, okay, cool, thanks. So I don't know. I'm torn on which one has more impact in these days and age.
Well, I wonder,
Yeah, I
Smeg,
don't
if it
know.
isn't just as likely, the same way. And you're right. I mean, or at least every time I've ever called, the Nebraska senators and a couple other state senators don't answer their own phones. But I would imagine they have people who are opening their mail and doing the filing system the same kind of way. So maybe to the, left to the discretion of those who want to do the communication. But doubling down, I think, would certainly be worth it. You can use several different means of doing that.
Well,
How much you want to
definitely.
bet we'd get rid of robocalls if they had to answer their own phones?
Ooh. Yeah.
I guess I just like the email because it's simple and easy. And I'm
Too
kind
true.
of lazy. But I also feel like, okay, they can take those emails and like they can easily sort that if they really cared. They could just look at like the subject line of the say oppose or support and then the bill
Yep.
number like right in the subject line. They just sort all those and go, oh man, it's 10-1 opposed. All right, maybe I'll think about it. I mean, we're never going to flip a Feinstein or any of them peoples. Like, we all know that. But there definitely could be other people.
Who do we got?
I'm just a little more optimistic.
Is it Patty Murray?
Yeah.
And who else?
The can't think of her name.
We're bad Washingtonians. We don't know the other senator.
So Cantwell, Maria Cantwell, and Patty
Yep.
Murray.
Have they mentioned how evil you and I are yet today?
I don't know. I don't listen to them. So
Yeah.
Well, I think this one's starting in the House, right? I think is it starting with the representatives? If it goes through that, then it'll go over to the Senate.
I think so.
I thought
yeah.
they passed it in the House, didn't they?
I don't think so. I mean,
I must be thinking of something else.
I mean, it could be, but I think right actually, yeah, I don't know because I think it's in the committee right now. Like it's not even at the full, like at the full floor.
Yeah, the Reuters from 3 days ago is saying House panel to consider assault weapons ban next week.
Yeah, they're going to do testimony on Wednesday. Because I know I was listening to Brooke, and she was trying to get some ladies to go down there with the DC project. So if you know any ladies in the area that want to help support the DC project, look at Brooke's channel. What the heck is that called?
A Great Start Shooting School.
Thank you, DJ.
For sure, for sure.
Like I say, I know I posted the link in the other show earlier, but she put a little video out today. But like I said, my brain's not fully turned on right now.
Looks like Woods is hitting the sack. Night Woods.
Yeah, have a good night.
Yeah, I don't know what I'm thinking of. Last few days have been a little rough. It's all a blur.
I mean, unless you're thinking of the one that already passed both and got signed. But that was a couple weeks ago. Which is interesting how it's like, oh, we're going to do this gun control stuff. They get all the stuff they want. And it's like not even a week later, they're like, oh, yeah, and we want this. So it's like you can never believe them, right? When they're like, no one's coming for your guns. There's no slippery slope. But it's like you literally waited 6 days and then introduce another one. Like we all know what you actually want.
Might be. I've been sick. It's all blurred together.
So I don't know. It's been a roller coaster in 2A, I'd say, for the past month. Like we get a good Supreme Court decision, and then you get half the state going nuts and trying to, limit a whole bunch of other stuff. A bunch of state level people came out with a whole bunch more. And it's like, the Supreme Court it's not just a Kerry case, like that whole thing of, don't do the two-step process anymore, like remanding cases back to the districts and saying, hey, try again, you got it wrong, like use this standard instead. We're all on a high going, all right, man, we're finally going to get rid of like state level bans, state level magazine stuff, blah, blah, blah. And then the federal one comes out, which I also noticed. I know everyone was real excited about that. Was it the EPA thing? And it had something to do with government agencies can't overstep by just writing their own laws, basically.
Chevron deference.
Yeah. And so I remember everyone going, oh, this is going to be great. We can reverse the bump stock thing and the receiver stuff, blah, blah, blah. Well, I don't know if you guys looked into this new assault weapons ban thing, but the assault weapons ban also lists bump stocks. So they're kind of be like, okay, we can overturn the ATF ruling, but if this thing passed, then it is written as law, and then they can enforce it still. I just found that interesting when I saw that. It was like, oh, they're doubling down. They're trying to, ban it by regulation and ban it by law, so that you have to overturn both of them to really get it back. I just kind of found that interesting.
Okay, I found out what happened. The House passed a bill to protect abortion rights back on the 15th, And I've had a fever, and I read that as the assault weapon. I've been really out of it, but that's what it was. Not to bring up abortion, but that's what I was thinking of 3 days ago.
Oh. Yeah, that's the other thing I wonder is like, are they going to try and get some other stuff going as everyone's distracted on that? Because that definitely, when you look at the two cases coming out of the Supreme Court within like a day of each other, which one is everyone really talking about? Like regular people, they all care about the Roe v. Wade stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And so while that's going on, they're just going to be like, oh yeah, and by the way, here's a magazine ban, assault weapons ban. And there's also, I mean, there's something in there. Sorry, I was digging in earlier because I when I heard that, I figured, oh, it's just a copy of 94, like whatever. But then I actually read I didn't read the whole thing, but I read a pretty detailed summary. And one of the things in there is a ban on handguns that are semi-automatic versions of full autos. And the first thing I thought of is my buddy has like a semi-auto Mac 10 clone. That's like the first thing I thought of. Was like, oh, those things wouldn't be allowed either, which doesn't make any sense because it's literally just a regular semi-auto handgun. It just kind of looks cool of like a full auto gun. But that one,
I assume in their mind they're worried about someone quote unquote converting it.
Like open bolt?
Something, I guess. We were talking about that the other night on Ruger 1022s.
There's in Australia, they banned gel blasters. They shoot the little gel balls because they were saying that they could be readily converted to real firearms just by replacing a few parts. They're plastic toy guns. You can't readily convert them by putting a trigger pack in it. But it, that goes along with that's what
It looks like a gun.
Yeah, I was gonna say they don't know any better, but I don't know if they know any better. If they know that's not true, but they're just banning anything that is gun-like.
I lean towards that. At least the people writing it, they know what they're doing. We like to make fun of them and laugh at them. Barrel shroud thing that goes up and a 30 caliber magazine. Like we can all make fun of them, and some of them maybe they don't even know what the heck they're talking about. They just know guns scary bad. I'm going to repeat what someone else is saying. But the people that are writing the thing,
exactly.
And we can ridicule them all we want, which to us is okay. We're all laughing because we know what they're saying. It's like some kind of inside joke in a way. But the regular people out there, they don't know. So if you tell them, oh, ghost guns can go through metal detectors, they'll just believe it. They don't know that that's not what the heck you're talking about. And so that's how they get their support, is by playing dumb. And then even like the co-sponsors and stuff, maybe those guys don't even know what the heck's going on. But I refuse to believe the people writing it are actually that dumb. I think they know exactly what they're doing.
I think you might be right there. And yeah, because I've seen in comment sections on, even on the, what is it, the Nextdoor app, the app for communities where, your neighborhood can talk to each other.
Mm-hmm.
Where stuff like that will come up, but the erroneous gun facts will come up. Well, we need to ban these because of, blah, blah, blah. And that's all bullshit, blah, blah, blah. But they're saying it like they believe it because they probably believe it because they heard it. American AAF, American Ammo and Firearms. Good morning. And Goddamn Bacon was asking, any of you guys think that CRS firearms case might actually be a threat to the NFA? I don't exactly have much hope, but that would be a good thing. I think there's better than 50-50 that they'll drop the case.
Mm-hmm.
But they'll wait as long as they can and try and figure out a way around it. Because I think I don't know all the charges that he's up against. I don't remember what they all are. So, but
I can look it up.
The key card part, I think they would lose on. And like I said, I don't know the other charges because I've heard even like money laundering. So I don't know if he's in trouble for that because he admitted to moving money around or something like that.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty standard. They'll try and throw a whole bunch of stuff at it. One, just because a lot of people will say, all right, like I've got 15 things against me. I'll plead to like one of them that's a little bit less. And then you drop all the other ones and they say, okay, cool, deal. So they try and do that kind of stuff all the time. But yeah, I don't quite remember either what all the stuff is. As far as the NFA thing, I think it's an interesting angle. I think it's pretty slim that they're going to like get rid of the NFA just because of this case. I mean, I like the idea of it. I think it's kind of more where you're saying is it might work to like get his charges dropped. Like it might work for him because they wouldn't want it to be a test case that basically that case would have to end up going back and forth and probably get all the way up to the Supreme Court before the NFA gets ruled unconstitutional. So for one, we're in for a long haul. And then for two, I don't think they want to even let it have the chance.
So here's I dropped a link for a video of CRS, his lawyers discussing that. So it's kind of interesting to hear their aspect. And they said basically they're saying their ultimate goal is to clear him of the charges. And if anything else comes of that, like taking down the NFA, then more the better. But so you can, if you want to check out what his lawyers are saying about it, there's a link for it.
Yeah, I mean that makes sense, right? Because obviously their first priority is just to take care of their client. I mean, that's just legally what they're supposed to do. But it's kind of like I forget what case that was. It was only a couple years after the NFA actually came around, and there was a challenge to it that was on its way to the Supreme Court. I think some guy had a short-barreled shotgun or something. But either way, they were basically saying, well, he shouldn't be in trouble for that because the NFA is unconstitutional to begin with. I think it was in 38 or 36, something like that. Anyways, as it was going through the courts, I think the dude passed away. And so the courts were just like, well, we can't look at it now. Like, there's no point now.
Yeah, he died before it got to the Supreme Court, so only the government was there to present their side. And then he had a co-defendant who disappeared and I think also died. So neither of them were there to defend their side.
Right. So that's one of the unfortunate things when you are dealing with courts is that like the initial thing of it is it's still just the one person against the government type of thing. And yes, that might go up all the way to the Supreme Court, which then whatever they decide can affect all of us and can go back and change a whole bunch of other rules. But if any one little thing changes, then they go, well, okay, we're not looking at this case anymore. Like, it doesn't matter. And that's where I think, even with this key card thing, they would rather just drop it before they let it get up that way if they think they're going to lose.
Because that was Miller, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And one of the things that came out of Miller that was never challenged was the Supreme Court ruled that the short barrel shotgun had no practical use in war. So it was not a weapon of war. So it could be banned.
Because it wasn't protected under the Second Amendment.
Wasn't protected by the Second Amendment, which means any weapon of war should be allowed according to that ruling. But it has never been challenged.
Yeah, I should be able to own a M249 if I want by that ruling.
Yeah.
I guess their argument is you can own one. You just have to pay $100,000 in a transfer tax.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's been their trick all along, which is one of the things, back then, it's the reason it's a $200 tax stamp. Because back then, that was the same price as buying a brand new car. So, I mean, that's the one good thing about the NFA is that it's hard coded in there. It's only 200. If they would have had a thing in there where it's always allowed to adjust for inflation, then we'd be having $20,000 tax stamps right now, or $30,000 tax stamp.
Yeah, there was I kind of talked about it on the overnight, which I didn't look it up, so I can't remember if it was a senator or Congress person who, in order to fight the NFA, the whole tax stamp thing, was proposing that it was adjusted for inflation to raise the price, and that would give them a basis to eliminate. And I don't know the whole argument, and I don't even know who it was. I just kind of heard a snippet of it.
Yeah, because if they raised it to 20 grand instead of 200, that'd look pretty bad. I mean, it already looks bad, but them trying to explain why they're charging a 200 or what would that be? 200, 100% increase, 1,000%. I can't do math. I'm fucked up. Sorry.
That's right. We get the point.
I cannot find his case. I keep finding articles, and it links to the charging documents. You click on them, and the documents are gone.
Uh-oh. What's the government trying to hide?
I did post them in the Discord server when he got charged, but we just deleted the server. So I can't go back.
We're accessories? We're a part of the conspiracy now?
Yeah, we deleted evidence.
I knew you guys were getting paid by Bloomberg. I knew it.
No comment. This interview is over. Please remove that man.
CRS actually does have a Discord server, by the way.
I've never been over to it just because I know there were
Is
problems
being
over
investigated by the
Too hot
ATF.
for Foss.
It's a big spotlight. Their admins were pretty smart, though. Do you know what they did? The messages get deleted every week.
Yeah.
That was set up before he got charged. So
I guess I was going to say that, then you can't go back if there's something you're looking for. But if it is rare that I ever go back more than a day or two to find something. Anyways,
There was a cool feature. You could select a message and exclude it from being deleted if you wanted.
so kind of like pinning it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that kind of thing, like it kind of sounds smart, but also if there's actually like, if you actually are doing something that they're going to want to investigate, they'll just have a way of, they'll have someone in there like taking screenshots every 10 minutes or whatever. Like they would just build their case before all the stuff went away. But I mean, I guess it would keep you safe from anything that happened before you got on their radar.
Yep.
But once you're on their radar, like they're going to have all that evidence anyways. But I don't know. I mean, I don't really even know that much about that guy. I think I remember watching like one of his videos. It may have even been like one of the Lightning Link things or whatever before all the craziness happened. Somehow he popped up like through the algorithm. And I watched one video and was like, yeah, this guy's not really for me.
I've heard that. I've heard that from
a
a lot of people.
I get his point. It's one of those. He's one of those people where you could like listen to him talk a bunch and be like, well, I mean, he's not wrong, but that's about the nicest thing you can say. Like, he's not wrong. I don't know. He rubbed me the wrong way a little bit.
I like to watch his videos because he would have a different take and look at something differently than I would. So there were times where, I would rethink a stance that I had, or, the way that I looked at something. But yeah, there's people that just hate him because he doesn't wear his hat straight. So
I was just there for the fashion show. The whole sleeveless set.
The shitty 90s tribal tattoo that isn't finished.
Oh my God, yeah.
Do you know why it's not finished? He was getting the tattoo and he's like, this looks like shit. I'm going to stop it. I'm not joking. That's the story behind that tattoo.
Oh, no way.
Yeah. He got it mostly done. He's like, yeah, I think we're good. I think we're good.
I mean, I was going to make an 80%er kind of joke.
Like he needs to black out the rest.
Yeah, he got the 80%er and then he just Sharpies it in at home like later.
We've covered his case. We covered it yesterday for the overnight. We've covered it at least one more time on the overnight. His GoFundMe. But yeah, I hope he wins. It's a shitty situation.
Maybe get that tattoo covered up.
It is, and he is, he has been antagonistic against the ATF for, quite a while. And he just, if you're going to do that, be better prepared. Because when they charged him, he didn't have a lawyer already, and they seized his bank account, so he didn't have money. And so he was kind of scrambling. And GoFundMe shut down his GoFundMe. And so if you're going to do that, plan ahead.
Yeah, and that's kind of the thing that I think was maybe the thing that rubbed me the wrong way. Like I said, he's not wrong. I totally understand. But also it's kind of the thing, he kicked the hornet's nest and didn't get stung. So he just decided, I'm just going to keep kicking the hornet's nest for a while.
Well, I mean, he
comes from it. Like, I'm glad it's him and not me. Like, I'm not going to lie about that. I'll be selfish. But that's just something about it. It was just like, okay, I get you, dude. You're being edgelord. Good for you.
He talked about ordering the solvent traps to bait the ATF to come to his door. So that's, you know,
Well, that's the crazy thing. He had an SOT. So he can build machine guns and silencers and stuff. And they still went after him.
Well, the problem was that he was selling the key card or whatever. Like, yeah, he could punch that thing out and bend it all up and do whatever he wants with it because he has the rights to do that.
Mhm.
He's got the paperwork and stuff. But I don't know. It's kind of one of those things you can always look back and go, "Hey, man, Al Capone got nabbed for tax stuff, right?" So it's like, when the government knows who you are and you keep pissing them off, even if you're being super clever and technically you're just selling artwork and technically you're just doing this, they'll say, yeah, cool story. Oh, hey, that speeding ticket from back then? Well, because of that and this and that, they connect all the dots and you're screwed.
Yeah, you have to remember the government has basically unlimited funding and ultimate power to do what they want, and then it's up to you to prove that they don't have the power to do what they did. So, think about what you're doing.
And let's not forget, he's the co-defendant. The other guy is in prison right now. He's been there for over a year. Or jail, whatever it is. Awaiting trial. Like, if they drop the charges on Matt, CRS, are these lawyers going to help out the other dude and challenge the NFA, or are they just going to go off with their money and go on with their lives?
They didn't, in the video that I posted, they didn't mention
him at all.
Yeah.
I mean, he might have his own people, and maybe the two lawyers are talking to each other to help strategize or something.
I hope so.
Because
it'd be a shame if Matt got off and he gets thrown up the river with no help.
Sometimes I do wish you could just take stuff up to the Supreme Court without, someone being in trouble first for a really long time.
Yeah, like a decade.
Like, I mean, I get it, standing, blah, 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 whatever. But also, it's like, if the government passes a thing tomorrow that says, all Christianity is banned in the U.S., that's clearly, against the First Amendment. Do you really have to wait for some dude in a church to get arrested and then go all the way up through the thing? Like, there should be a clause that's like, this is just on behalf of everybody, not a specific person. You all know this is wrong. Supreme Court, tell them that they're stupid and that they're wrong.
I think I agree with your point, but I think it should still go through the Court of Appeals. So go through the circuit first as a filtering, where if it's an erroneous case, and then can be taken farther. But you don't need to be injured, if it's a constitutional matter.
Here's a good point that I haven't heard anyone say this. So we're talking about this other guy, the co-defendant. How many people are in federal prison right now for building machine guns, actual machine guns? Why don't other lawyers take this same exact framework that these two lawyers have come up with and appeal every single one of these cases? We don't have to wait for CRS to get thrown in prison. There's already people in prison.
Coming soon to a courtroom near you.
That's a good question.
Why the fuck isn't the NRA doing something? Oh, I guess we know why. All their funders would lose their NFA money. Oh, man. It just pisses me off. I wish I could remember the other guy's name, the co-defendant. It's down in
Yeah,
Florida.
I don't remember. Uh,
You read articles, and all they talk about is Matt.
Well, all right, guys, I'm gonna jump off and hop into bed.
hey,
having
thanks for jumping in,
Yeah,
hanging
thanks.
out with us.
me. Yep. You guys take
Go
it
easy.
easy. I'll listen for a little bit.
Yeah, belly rubs for the puppy.
Found his
Always.
name.
Both of them. You
Chris-
got two, don't you?
Chris Irvin.
Chris Irvin?
Mhm.
Oh, okay.
He did have GoFundMe too. He did not get as much money as CRS did. I don't know what that says about us, but
It's kind of the nature of man. Where, you know,
yeah. This page, I found that because I went to mainstream articles, I couldn't find it. I found it on AR15.com. And they're calling him YouTube Fred Durst. So the only place I could find the real info I needed was one where they're insulting him. What the hell's wrong with us?
He did it all for the key card.
And they have the charging documents.
Yeah, I looked on the little notepad app that I keep that stuff on because I remember linking it back when that all got started, but I've already deleted that stuff.
Okay, they're charging him with selling a machine gun or conspiring to sell a machine gun. And what else? Overt acts. I'm going to paste the document in the YouTube chat. If people want to read it, they can read it. I am too messed up to try to read a court document. I do remember they charged him with getting married. Do you remember that?
To avoid
Yeah.
prosecution or whatever, something like that.
so his wife couldn't
Testify.
testify against him.
Oh, that's okay. Yeah.
It's not like she was like his roommate. They have kids together. They're like, you got married to avoid going to prison. Can you prove that?
I just in 1990 there were 173,340 firearms possessed under the NFA. 2019, 2,041,432.
Holy shit.
I was
They
trying to
must
see
be
if
pleading these down.
well, no, that's not. I was trying to find to see if there's any stats on people locked up for firearms or for machine guns, and I think this is NFA items that are owned by people. 2,441,000.
Oh, gotcha.
So it jumped from 173,000 in 1990 to 2 million 2019.
That's per year, not total.
I think that's total up. I was guessing that's up until now. I don't know. It doesn't. There's not a lot of background on how what all their information they're telling us. It's just giving me a number and some.
Do they have it
few
year by
words.
year?
Yeah,
Does it ever go down?
up and then back down.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that, yeah, it's got to be yearly total, not combined,
So
because it would never go down.
173,300 in 1990, and then hits a peak in 2003 at 343,836. 2004 it drops to 193,000, and then 2005 156,000. 2006 jumps up to 405,000, and then from there up to 2 million.
So yeah, that's a yearly total.
Yeah, but again, there's not a lot of context on what these numbers, what they're telling us, what the numbers.
Be nice if it had a breakout. So, because immediately what came to mind is how many of those are suppressors.
Yeah, and SBRs. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's not machine guns. Those are
Looks
capped.
like they manufacture and exported application for tax stamp transfer. Oh, they added in transfers in that number. Application for tax stamp, another transfer. Application for tax badge transfer. Well, that can also be when you buy them because it's transferred to you. I don't know. And then applications. The lowest number on this Jiggity chart is to Form 1s to make a NFA firearm. It was just interesting, the jump in the number, whatever it means. So here, I'll post a link to what I was looking at, and if anybody wants to go look at it, they can look at it themselves.
I am going to look at that.
There were other stats. That's just the one stat that I focused in on.
I love this background checks stat. Almost 40 million last year. Just for background checks. That can be multiple guns, one background check.
Yeah, that was with the influx of new owners, and then people were saying there's, this many million new gun owners. Well, that not necessarily. That's just, background checks for a gun. So you can already be a previous gun owner. But
Well, I thought they broke it down by people that never had a background check before, didn't they?
I don't know.
I don't believe so. I mean, at least, it may have been in some reporting, but not in all the common discussions or articles that I was familiar with. Because, between the three of us, we're responsible for, probably several, during the calendar year. And I didn't feel like a new gun owner.
Feels like the first time.
Yes, somehow this article is saying that it's their first gun purchase.
For real?
Over 5 million in between January 2020 and April 30th.
What's the source of the stat, though? Because how would they be able to differentiate? Only the Gov could do that, and that would mean that they would have had to run it up against any previous ownership. I'm not trying to put you on the spot or anything like that. I understand it's something you just pulled up, but that's curious.
Yeah, I'll find the study.
Curiouser and curiouser.
The Annals of Internal Medicine.
Oh?
APC Journal article. There was a survey.
who they do they? Is it just like an open survey where they're asking random people?
Well, I'm looking.
Or one of those things where they create the percentages based on the sample group, which was only like 100 respondents. 9 out of 10 doctors. How many did you ask? 10?
8.
Yeah. Bad stats.
It says data was taken out of the 2021 National Firearms Survey.
Now, what is that, though?
I don't know.
Yeah, it's like curiouser and curiouser. I feel like just based on how on earth would they be able to cross-reference all of that? And if they did, there's only one agency.
Survey had 55,000 people. It's a pretty big survey. So we don't know if that number is correct, but a large portion was first-time gun buyers.
Yeah, I do believe there was a large influx of.
Because I personally know people.
Yeah, safe to say with that modification.
Plus, think about it. Over the last 2-3 years, people have turned 18. There's always new gun buyers every year because people come of age.
Yep. I'm looking at the 2021 National Firearms Survey. I probably won't read the whole thing because just reading the landing page, says that the average gun owner owns 5 firearms.
They need to step that up. Those are rookie numbers.
I don't feel average.
48% of gun owners have owned magazines that hold over 10 rounds. 30.2% of gun owners, totaling about 24.6 million individuals, have owned an AR or similar style rifle. 42.2% female, 57.8% male. 25.4% blacks, 28.3% Hispanic, 19.4% Asian, 34.3% white. Still, that's percentage. Looks like percentage of their respective community owns firearms. Yeah, I think there's a little. It's a. Yeah, I question the accuracy, but it's probably in general correct.
Yeah, so it was 40 million background checks. And they're estimating like 5 to 6 million were new first timers. I believe that.
Yeah.
Plus, it's not even counting people that bought privately.
Yeah, I'll say maybe. Is when you're looking at those two numbers comparatively. Sure, I can see that.
Like if your buddy, well, we can't do it in Washington, but let's say your buddy in Nebraska came over and said, hey, I need to buy a gun. Do you mind selling me one? That's not going to get recorded. Now he's a first-time gun buyer.
The ranks would definitely swell with accurate reporting of that sort of thing, but who's going to report?
So the survey, they asked people if they own a gun, when did you buy it, that type of thing. How many people are lying and say they own a gun when they don't?
Yeah.
It'd be the other way around, right? Like somebody called me as a survey and said, "Do you own a gun?" I'd be like, "Fuck you," and I hang up.
Well, you don't know. That's the problem with surveys. Is it can, your results can swing wildly based on who you call, when you call, where you call.
Yeah, like me, for example. I'm not even picking up the phone call.
Yeah.
It's going right to voicemail.
I think I've answered maybe 2 surveys, and they were product surveys. Have you ever heard of this product? Do you think this product is, which country is it from? This country, that country?
Was it Springfield Armory SD? And they were asking, "Do you think this was made in America?" For some reason, other people do.
No, I don't really remember. I think one of them was asking about Hyundai. Is it Japanese? Is it Korean? Is it? But that was like everything else I talk about. At least 20 years ago.
What do you think? Should you be allowed to use the U.S. flag in your advertising when your gun is not even made here?
Yes, because of freedom of speech.
But there's laws about that. Like you can't put "Made in USA" unless it's actually made in USA. Is that violation of free speech?
Yeah.
Or is it stopping people from lying?
I don't know.
Like Chevy can't say you can tow 20,000 pounds with your Silverado when you can only tow 10,000.
Well, a lot of that comes out of California. Like California is the reason we have like the whole "made in the USA" thing based on percentage. So they're gonna, most manufacturers that do claim they don't have to have. It doesn't have to be 100%. So if some, whatever the percentage is, and I don't know it, is of domestic origin, then it counts. And I think it also has something to do with assembly too. So, yeah, I don't want to go too much farther than that. Just not sure.
It's kind of funny. I've been watching a lot of the, To Tell the Truth, the game show. I've been watching the episodes from the early mid 60s, and they're live reads, for like Anacin, clear up your headache, calm your jitters, give you energy. It's just kind of funny to hear what they say about the products that they would not say now.
Yeah, one of my favorites, kind of riffing on that, is I still collect some Tobacciana, things related to tobacco. And I used to love to collect the old Camel ads. And there was a series where, endorsed by doctors. And it said that smoking was actually good. And they had an illustration of a person with a person's face with a T-zone. So basically it was good for your sinuses and everything else to smoke. It was a World War II era ad series.
Yeah, and watching the old movies where, the doctor comes out, talk to the patient's family, and he lights up a cigarette and starts smoking.
Yep.
Here's a good question. You go to Springfield Armory's website. At the top of the page for the XD, they have the Springfield Armory logo and that big and American flag.
Well,
and it does
not
say
American company.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Is an American company. I like Voss's answer best, though. As a matter of freedom of speech. But I also get your point, Baron. I do.
Well, there's, like for Springfield, there's import laws that come into play. So that wouldn't count as protected speech.
They even call their trigger safety the USA safety. Fuck off. Fuck off. Springfield Armory, go to hell. I'm sorry.
Well,
Yeah.
it's like them basically rebranding the Turkish guns, and
I mean, they're stamping a U.S. ordnance logo on the side of their guns, and they're made outside of the country. It bugs me. It's my pet peeve. I'm not saying they should be like fined, but fuck them.
oh yeah, I've shot, the only Springfield I've ever shot was a 1911. I rented at the range. I rented a SIG in a Springfield, and yeah, I have no plans on ever buying a Springfield. But somebody wants to, that's that's their choice.
Did they change their logo? What the hell?
Isn't it crossed cannons?
Yeah, I'm seeing something that says the Armory Life, and it's cross cannons with an A.
That's probably
Is that their forum?
yeah, that's what I was thinking.
They stole my idea. The Armory forum.
It looks
Bastards.
like basically articles and videos on
I'm
Springfield. Yeah. Well,
There's a Hellcat made. I'm not done shitting on them yet.
okay.
There have
Is
been
that
so
law
many
still in
times that
place?
you guys have. Sorry.
Is that law still in place that their lobbyist helped pass?
I don't know.
Did they even fire the guy?
It looks like the Hellcat is made in Croatia.
Okay.
According to Wikipedia.
Are there 1911s made in the country? Even?
Some don't tell him. Don't tell him. I have the feeling that it's going to go full nuke if they are. Aren't.
They must be made in the U.S.
Please just keep telling yourself that, Baron. We don't need a coronary.
It looks like Illinois. Oh no, that's the company. Sorry.
Like, do you think Croatia is mentioned once on the page for the XD? Nope. It's not mentioned once. What the fuck? Come on, man. That's got to be false advertising, right? You called your trigger system the USA Safety. You got American flag at the top of the page. Your name is Springfield Armory, and you don't say they're made in Croatia on your page for the info for the gun? Yeah. I'll get off my box.
Their 1911s were made in Brazil, but I'm looking at a forum. But they cut ties in. What year was that?
Okay, I double checked. I did spell Croatia right. It's not mentioned once. How about imported? Does it say imported? No, it does not. How many times do you think it says USA?
Because they're Chant USA. Looks like maybe the 1911s are now made in the U.S. Looking at a Reddit.
Oh, that's good.
They were made in Brazil by Imbil up until like 2015, and now they're made in the U.S.
Just to be clear, I have nothing against Croatia. I don't like them using the Springfield Armory name and logo and then making you think you're buying a gun that was made in the U.S. That bugs me.
Pink saying it would never turn down a 6-inch Springfield 1911. So I think I'm going to close her down. We've been going just over 3 hours, 6 hours, 3 hours. I am not the goddamn bacon. I cannot go all night.
We basically did the after chat live on air.
He can do 6 to 8 hours while drunk. He's an amazing YouTuber. So if you're looking for a long form chat, the goddamn bacon is the place to go. So can you see if you can find a link for his channel real quick?
I can try.
Blabber away. And let me do one thing here. And so let me go down here. Whoop, I passed it. Get back. There we go. There's what I want. And since he's out there, here's a link to Pink Panther's channel. He doesn't put out a lot of content, but he does do some stuff, has done some stuff. So check out Pink's channel.
So just be clear. They mention Croatia 0 times and they mention the USA once on the XD product page. Am I crazy? Should we do a poll next time?
All right, I got the link for bacon, so I got it. So
I did bacon, I did Smeggy, I did DJ.
Oh, okay.
All that typing wasn't for nothing. I
wasn't sure what you were doing. I don't know.
I was playing a video game.
Well, wasn't sure if you're just all loopy now. So DJ, anything you want to say before we take off here?
Absolutely. I'd like to plug the Guns and Barbecue channel and the Almost Nightly Firearms Expos, which air Tuesday and Thursday evenings, Wednesday afternoons. And until I see y'all again, be safe, have fun, carry your guns, and rock.
I will get his link right now.
Yeah, I knew you were going to do it, so I started looking.
I am fairly predictable.
It's reliable.
There it is. Contrary to what you saw with that bot, I can function sometimes.
Give the channels a check, give them a look, some love, okay. It's gonna go a little too far. It's gonna say rubbing and tugging, but that's that's between you and them. But Baron, anything you want to say before we go?
Yeah, I'd implore people to go to the Springfield Armory XD webpage and double check my facts. And let us know on the next one. We might do a poll.
So I'd just like to say, Wednesday, there will not be a show this Wednesday, but hopefully the Wednesday after that, we'll be back to our regularly scheduled program. And I just want to thank everybody that was here in the live chat, hanging out with us, and those who might watch this in replay. Appreciate everybody. And you can leave comments if something that we talked about that you want to add to the conversation, or something you think we got wrong. Leave a comment. Let me know you're listening. And other than that, I hope everybody has a good rest of the day.